The Trump brand and his divisive race for president. As Donald Trump cuts the ribbon on his latest high-profile project, we're going to take a look at whether he has irreparably damaged his own brand by running for the White House. Welcome back to Miami and our American quest. For the second time in as many days, Donald Trump is using one of his commercial properties as a backdrop for his presidential campaign. Today, it was the official ribbon cutting for his Trump International Hotel in Washington. It's a stone's throw from where he may be living from January the 20th of next year. Mr. Trump said his redevelopment of the historic post office is a preview of what he would do for the United States if elected.
We were dramatically ahead of schedule on this project and under budget. We turned a property that had been neglected for decades and which was losing huge sums of money for the federal government into a major revenue producer and job creator. This is what I want to do for our country, and this is what we're working so hard to do.
Now, the Trump Organization is denying reports that the hotel has been struggling since the soft opening last month. Still, the presidential campaign is having an impact on Mr. Trump's brand. Washington, D.C. wedding planners tell CNN they are not bothering to recommend the new hotel for events. And recent analysis from Foursquare finds the foot traffic at Trump properties has fallen 16% since last year. On the bright side of the equation, the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation is refusing to move an annual fundraiser from Mr. Trump's Mar-a-Lago club here in Florida. So the negative news would seem to fly in the face of those who think Donald Trump is only running to bolster his brand. One person who has that opinion is Lord Alan Sugar, the host of the UK version of The Apprentice, who spoke to us last week on GS Business.
If anything, this has been the greatest PR stunt pulled in the history, I think, of America, really. I'm not even sure he wants to be the president, actually. I think he'd be quite happy to stop, you know, when you get to November the 8th and say, look what I've done now. It's Trump brand. You know, I heard rumours of him maybe wanting to start a television channel himself. This is wonderful for him. He loves every minute of it.
Joining me now from New York, Steve Halsey, the Managing Director at G&S Business Communications. Steve, your gut feeling, how damaging, if damaging at all, has it been for the Donald Trump brand, the way this presidential campaign has gone?
Well, Richard, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I'm not sure I want to take on the wedding planners or not, but the actual answer is this is moving his brand forward significantly. Far too many people are trying to look at Trump's brand as being one-dimensional, real estate developer, celebrity apprentice. What he's doing, like a lot of disruptive brands like Apple, like Lyft, like an Uber, is to take the conversation and move it in a completely different direction as he evolves his own business model.
When he does move that, until now it has been a luxury brand, but he's clearly appealing to a group of people who could not afford many of the luxury items of which he sells or puts his name from. So, are you saying he is shifting his brand deliberately?
Absolutely. He is 100% shifting his brand to be much more, like I said, from real estate to tycoon, casino magnate, to now he really is a significant force driving a cultural shift. So whichever direction he goes, be it leader of the free world or be it turning this into an entertainment empire of his own, he is significantly challenging the status quo and moving his brand forward.
Wow, but there's... I mean, you say this with a certain confidence of what's happening, but there can be no confidence, surely, that it will be successful. There may well be a tarnishing of the Trump name after this is over.
Absolutely. That is one of the risks you take when you shift a brand and you disrupt the status quo. But I also think there's a difference between brand, which is what you're trying to sell and get people to buy, and reputation as to whether I trust it or not. So he has established a very strong brand with a niche of individuals. And like you said, it's this interesting dichotomy of his brand being all about wealth and aspiration, and that appealing to rank and file Americans. I think he's captured something really distinct in that dichotomy. Whether it's good enough to get him into the White House is a completely different story.
Good to see you, Steve. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Richard.